Powerful words of wisdom from some of the best minds ever to grace the world. Today, philanthropy and giving are a vital part of the fabric of our society. However, few people realize how critical charities have become, how many essential services they provide, the countless number of lives they save. Faces of Philanthropy explores the people and the causes that define New York City as a worldwide center for giving and philanthropy. We take a look at these amazing, invincible spirits whose passion and determination to give back is simply extraordinary.
City Harvest saved my life.
1.5 million people in New York City wake up hungry every day.
True heroes who give of themselves unconditionally, selflessly, on a journey to make the world a better, more beautiful place.
A quarter to a third of all New Yorkers depend on the library to be able to read because they can't afford books. That has always been our mission.
Our obligation is to give back to society.
Probably the most important thing I could do with my dollar.
I raise money for books for the library.
Faces of Philanthropy celebrates the boundless capacity humans have to share.
Anybody can give back. We are the universe only as much as we give back to it.
The value of a man resides in what he gives, not in what he is capable of receiving. In this episode of Faces of Philanthropy, a look at one of New York's greatest jewels, the New York Public Library. This institution is a refuge, a sanctuary, a community for the mind and heart, and has been giving to its patrons since it opened its doors in 1895.
New York Public Library is over 100 years old. It was founded first as a private library bringing together Astor, Lennox, and Tilden's collections as a research library. And that's what's housed here, primarily in the main building at 42nd Street and 5th Avenue. And then shortly thereafter, Andrew Carnegie donated to the city of New York the largest single gift in the history of philanthropy ever. All the circulating libraries at the time for all 5 boroughs. That created an institution which is unique in the world.
Over the years, the New York Public Library has become a crucial resource for all New Yorkers, providing thousands of public programs and exhibitions, enriching countless lives. Its ability to engage, educate, and empower is pure inspiration.
The New York Public Library was my home away from home. A community of people where we exchanged our ideas, discussed the importance of networking.
You're a Columbia Business School grad, and
Right.
you walk into the New York Public Library and
Right.
launch your career. Most people wouldn't believe that might happen.
The library has a ton of resources, all available for free.
Free programming of this quality in Manhattan is a really wonderful thing. And she's really, I think, developed an appreciation of books and stories and music.
Through the unwavering generosity of donors, the New York Public Library has been a beacon of light for thousands yearning, struggling, needing a new beginning.
In Africa, I don't go into school. In US, I'm reading in English, I'm writing in English, I'm talking. Before, I don't understand English, nothing. But now I'm talking, I'm good. My teacher is good helping the people reading and writing.
Well, I come to the library because I started school down south and I never learned how to read. I always had to take care of the kids, so I never started. This is what I need now to better my life now because my kids are grown. I want to do something for me.
This program is wonderful. I am from West Africa in Gambia. In my country, I never been to school. Then I registered for English class. Now my reading, my writing is very good. I'm improving now.
For people like Fatima, Edward, and Machine, The library has been their lifeline to new and exciting beginnings as they receive the gift of literacy.
It's like standing on top of the world. Can't nobody hold you back when you're reading right.
If you can't read in New York City, you're totally left out of everything. If you can't read, you're literally blind. So you know that what you're doing is going to make an impact on this person's life.
Volunteer teachers Liz and Tito play an integral role in this process, giving hours of their time to help humankind.
I work with anyone who comes in and needs to learn to read and write. Most of the guys in my group, they are from different nationalities. They want to become citizens, they want to improve their lives. So it's a diverse amount of reasons.
The most rewarding thing for me is when the students leave my classroom and come back and inform me of all the things they've achieved. Some students come back with a driver's license that they were able to fill out the application by themselves. Some students have gone to the doctor's office and been able to communicate.
When you go to the doctor, you said there's a lot of pressure on you when you're around other people and you can't read. Right?
I have to find somebody to translate, so because I don't speak English.
Some students have come back and got a job. Anytime I hear about my students using what we do in the classroom outside the classroom, I feel like there's definitely a reason that I'm here.
It's people like Tito and Liz that are the faces of philanthropy, the heroes among us, asking for nothing in return in exchange for their efforts, but only to remain a consistent source of help and inspiration to those who need it most.
Thank you, my teacher. His name Liz.
It's wonderful, it's helpful to me. It's like, they're like my family.
The need for this kind of program isn't going to stop. It's just going to keep waves of immigration just keep coming.
This spirit and brotherhood is at the very core of what the library's mission has been and what it continues to be.
Without donations and people giving their time, time and money, it wouldn't happen.
Because this is free. If we don't learn here, how are we going to learn?
You have to make a difference. Simple as that.
So we started coming to the baby lap time when Charlotte was about 4 months old. Free programming of this quality in Manhattan is a really wonderful thing, especially in a place where newborn baby classes can cost upwards of $800. Not all families are able to put their children into these expensive programs. So it's really fantastic to have a beautiful place like this. A lot of us live in small spaces, so to have a space where your kids can crawl around and move around and also interact with other children. It's really important to preserve a place like this where you have all these incredible books that have been classics since I was a child. I love to be able to share that with my kids, and we support the library, and we really feel like it's an important institution. And she also will take away a lot of knowledge, a love of books, a love of music and rhymes, and just this sort of environment. It's been wonderful for me as a mother to be able to come here to meet other mothers and other children who live in the blocks around us. It's really nice to come here and see familiar faces, see the children interact, learn their names. I think it really has been a way to get involved in the community and really feel like you know your neighbors.
Literacy Partners staff is working diligently and collaboratively to carry out their mission of strengthening New York's families through literacy.
I dropped out of school just before my 12th birthday.
When my daughters were young, they used to ask me to help them with their homework, but I really couldn't do it because I didn't know how to read and write myself.
Without education, the streets was the only thing to escape to.
Literacy Partners was started in 1973 as an offshoot of Literacy Volunteers of America. The origins of Literacy Partners really are in the emancipation movement. Adult literacy tutoring in the United States really has its origin in the freedom schools, when teaching somebody to read and write was such a threat to the social order of the time that you could be arrested for it. It was a crime to teach African Americans to read and write in this country not so long ago. So out of that history, organizations like Literacy Partners have blossomed and developed and professionalized. We started in the early 70s on the ethic of each one, teach one. If you knew how to read and write, it was your obligation to help your fellow New Yorker. And we went on for many years under those conditions. Fortunately, we were aided by a group of enlightened New Yorkers led by Liz Smith that helped the organization develop more fully, professionalize, hire professional teachers, and have a measure of financial stability.
I was so impressed with what these few people were trying to do. A young man got up at the end and he looked like a Madison Avenue, Harvard, Yale graduate. And he said, I can't read and I have a wonderful job and I make my wife read to me at night all of my papers and things. And I thought, holy cow, we could teach this guy to read. We started asking famous people to help us to read every year, to raise money so that we could teach adults how to read.
We've had an incredible array of authors who have come to read. We've had the likes of Stephen King and Patricia Cornwell, to Alice Walker and Toni Morrison. Barbara Bush has read for us. Oprah has been there. Martha Stewart has come to the gala and read from her works. So it's an amazing array of New York authors in particular who have donated their time and paid attention to the cause and brought people together.
It's very hard to teach an adult how to read. You can't get the adults into classes, and so what we would do is find businesses that would give us space at night for our volunteers to teach somebody one-to-one.
Believe it or not, more than 2 million adults in New York City can't read and write English at about the 8th grade level. And while that may seem surprising to know that 1 in 5, 1 in 6 adults can't read and write at that level, if you go into a restaurant, there are many workers in the back of the house that are walking around with very limited literacy skills. And it's an incredible constraint on what you can do in mainstream society. It makes it difficult to open a bank account. It makes it difficult to get an appointment for health care, to follow the doctor's instructions, to take your medicine as prescribed. And these challenges that people face have very important consequences in their lives. People with limited literacy skills have worse health status than people that are well educated. They arrive at the doctor's office with the same diagnosis and their outcomes are worse. They die sooner. And it's an enormous price to pay for being born in the wrong zip code. Over our 40-year history, Literacy Partners has helped more than 37,000 adults to improve their reading and writing and to learn English. Grassroots organizations often have boom and bust cycles in funding. Grants come and grants go. You hire some people to do some good, and then when the money runs out, you have to let them go. So we've been enormously lucky and fortunate to have Liz Smith and her colleagues and her friends involved. So we've been able to achieve a modicum of financial stability all these years.
And of course, the stars of Literacy Partners became these graduates who would reduce audiences, ballrooms to tears. And we've had some great memories of those people.
It opened up the whole world for me.
The day I got my GED was the happiest day of my life.
Read Alliance was founded in 1999, and the purpose for the organization is to provide tutoring to students to get the one-on-one attention that they need in order to improve their reading skills. Through our program, they gain those foundational reading skills that are necessary in order for them to then go back into the classroom and have the necessary skills to build upon in their educational careers. Read Alliance believes that success starts early. We know that if we work with students at an early age, before there's truly a problem, we can change their educational trajectory.
We work in public, charter, and Catholic schools throughout New York City, and we have grown from 2 Catholic schools in the Bronx and Upper Manhattan to 45 schools throughout the city. And as Read Alliance grew, we needed more teens in order to staff all of the schools, and so we started paying our tutors both in the school year and the summertime. The reason that Read Alliance sought teenagers to be tutors in this program is because at the time the founders saw a real need for something productive for teens to do both in the summertime and during the school year in order to give back to their communities. For almost 100% of our teens, their job with Read Alliance is their first paid job. So it's really a stepping stone for them in building their resume. In some cases, they are working in order to use the wages to help with family expenses, to put aside for future education. Their supervision and their structure, and they have a real sense of purpose in what they're doing. The great thing about walking into a Read classroom is that the tutors truly are the teachers of the kindergarten and first graders. To read is truly a gift, and when they realize the impact they are having on the students' lives, and to then be able to be a part of that happening in a child's life is a real confidence builder for our teens. We want to be in more schools every year. By the end of 2016, we want to have served 1,500 students, and that in and of itself is a great goal. But if we can serve those students even better by furthering what they get from Read Alliance, then partnering with other organizations is certainly the direction in which we're moving.
The New York Public Library is committed to promoting early literacy and fostering the love of learning. With the immense generosity of donors like Citigroup, the library's ability to continue their education legacy is thriving, made possible with a recent $5 million donation from Citigroup.
It is called My Library NYC, and it will connect as many as 250,000 public school students at 400 schools to the entire catalogs of the New York, Brooklyn, and Queens public library system by next summer. Starting today, any student at a participating school can search the online catalog developed by BiblioCommons and arrange to borrow books and other materials. Students can also have a teacher submit a request on their behalf and have books delivered free of charge to the school. And teachers can order up to 100 books or class sets as part of lesson plans, and they can use online social tools to share book lists and reviews.
The program will grow to cover all public schools, benefiting 1.1 million students by the year 2015.
And it really is an indispensable asset in helping the students here learn and achieve in the classroom. And we believe that My Library NYC will continue to be a great tool to encourage reading and promote learning for our city's school children, both in and out of the classroom. And I think it really is another great example of the public and private sectors coming together to invest in our kids and in our city's future.
So for us, this program with the library and with the city schools is not only about giving back, it's also an investment in the future of New York City, and of course, in the future of city. And for me personally, I'm proud to get this card today, and I'm going to carry it, and I hope also to be a user with all of you of the services that are offered in the library. Thank you.
The state allocates enough money to purchase one new book for approximately every 4 students in our school. This is not enough money to meet the needs of both our students and our teachers as they study and enjoy books. Many of the content areas in the library are age sensitive, and our budget doesn't allow us to replace the books with the frequency that would be required to meet the demanding needs of our students' learning. The relationship between the school library and the public library enables us to have more of these resources at our fingertips. I'm extremely grateful for the My Library NYC program because it has enabled me to access greater professional opportunities and to give my students and teachers what they need. What we're able to do is far more exciting, intriguing, and it increases our capacity for both learning and enjoyment tremendously.
I read fake books like Alexandra books, and then I read real books like Rod and Richie books. When I read and look at new words, then when I'm reading them, I can just take a picture and keep it in my head, and then when I need to write, I could think of what it looks like and then write it.
My favorite book? Oh, there's so many. I love the Harry Potter series, and then the book The Secret Circle is like really, really good. And then I also read some Plato and Socrates over the summer. It was interesting, new vocabularies and, you know, like just growing as a reader.
I try to do my homework at home sometimes, and then I can't. My brother plays his music so loud, so I just go to the library and do my homework where I can actually concentrate.
I love the library because it's like where you can learn what you want to learn instead of learning what you have to learn. So whatever you're into, just like get into it, you know?
I raised money for books for the library, and I squeezed like 15 or 20 lemons. I always wanted to have a lemonade stand, but then when my mom brought up the library, I knew exactly what to do. Instead of just having lemonade, I would use my mom's cookies. She makes delicious chocolate chip cookies.
I'm writing a book, a novel, you can say. It's about this kid, yeah. His name's Ian, and he's trying to like figure out who he is because he doesn't know that he has powers yet. That's the part I'm at right now. I don't know what's gonna happen next.
Like all these activities for the kids, like really can get in. They make like candles and the artsy stuff.
Team program, it's amazing. It's like where the kids get like hang out and calm down, and we do like activities. It's all about like letting go and just having fun and just being yourself.
I just get more ideas because I know so much more, because I read so much more. So like I have more knowledge of things.
Sometimes it can help children to read and like learn more and like think.
I guess a home, yeah. A home where I can, home. That's it.
My name is Helen and I'm 6 years old.
And this is my library card.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
I think the library is perfect,
So this library is funded about half by the city. It goes back to the original contract with Andrew Carnegie. Though, of course, this city, like most municipal financial agencies, have less funding. That means we're even more reliant on private donors. About half of our budget comes from private sources. About half of that return on an endowment that we've been building for 100 years. And about a quarter of the total budget comes from annual donations from big to small.
One of the reasons that this is very important to me is that library is important to me, and being able to help people of all types in New York, people of lower income, middle income, for them the library is a passport to the achievement of the American dream. It's an important thing when you look back on your own life. When I was a kid, I can remember going to the library in Philadelphia every day to study. And when I got older and had children, we used to bring both of my children to the library in East Hampton, on weekends. And it's a part of our life. And it's a privilege for me, an honor for me, to be able to help out in this great reinvigoration of the library.
The library depends on support from generous individuals to help fund the extensive collections, job search resources, access to the internet, literacy classes, children's story hours, and so much more.
We're going to be needing the city to continue its commitment.
There are millions of New Yorkers struggling with basic literacy skills who are effectively shut out of an array of opportunities. But organizations like the New York Public Library and Literacy Partners are committed to helping change their lives. I'm Tim Malloy.